Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Before we get into this video, if you could just check out that link down below, it'll take you to classic football shirts where you can use Leeds Lately 10 at checkout for a 10% off, and there's loads of good Leeds United retro shirts on there. Leeds United have just won 4-1 at home against Huddersfield Town in the Yorkshire Derby, and that first half was mind-blowing. I said this in my stream, I'm not sure whether it's recency bias or what, but I felt like it was the best first half of football I've ever seen Leeds United play. Maybe let's downgrade that to one of the best first halves of football I've ever seen Leeds United play, because we were so excellent in the first half. So let's go through the game. Let's talk about the first half first, as a sane person would. The main players that were excellent and made us score those goals: Somerville, Jorginho, and Dan James. Now, Dan James got 2 goals. Somerville got 2 goals and 2 assists. Jorginho, I think, got an assist, but he was so involved in the play that he was part of the shot-creating actions for all of them. So shot-creating actions, for those of you who don't know, is the contribution before the assist, basically. So the person who passed it to the person who assisted the goal, or even just assisted the shot. So he should rank quite highly in this game for that, because he was involved in so many of those plays, and his ability to hold on to the ball and to play passes is unbelievable. There was a time in the first half where he chested it down on the halfway line, spun and volleyed it out to the left wing, where Crescencio Somerville was able to just take it perfectly into his path. He was excellent, Jorginho Rutter, and he's fast becoming what I think is probably the best player in the Championship. The way that he plays, the way that he holds off players is unbelievable. Having said that, Crescencio Somerville and Dan James also were brilliant. Dan James was just there to finish off those chances, and he did really well at doing so. Somerville cut inside, gave the ball to Dan James on the edge of the box, just as Pirro ran across Somerville's path, and it went right into the path of Dan James, who curled it into the bottom corner from the edge of the box. And so his final product today, Dan James, was on point. Put 2 goals in the back of the net, and Somerville obviously did as well. Excellent finishes from both of those players. The Somerville goal, the second Somerville goal, Jorginho Rutter went through a couple of players. He got a little back heel 1-2 from Sam Byram. He went through more players, then put it across the box. Somerville dropped his shoulders, went this way and that, and just slid it under the goalkeeper into the bottom corner, a bit like what he did with his first goal as well. So unbelievable first half performance from Leeds. Kamara, I thought, was really good. Probably his best game in a Leeds shirt as well. I thought he was able to contribute to the attack and the defence just as well as each other, and was getting back and making slide tackles, all that stuff. Defensively in that first half as well, wow, we were really solid. Anytime they had a chance to attack, we just headed it away or cleared it away, and then we just passed the ball around the back, made chances for ourselves by playing through the lines, playing up the field, and doing basically what we struggled to do against teams like Stoke and Norwich. And we were fantastic at it. Ampadu had a chance to actually turn on the ball and look forward with his passing, which is something that he struggled with in recent weeks because teams have come out and packed that midfield. Having said all this, Leeds were brilliant, but Huddersfield were pretty shocking in that first half, especially Edwards. I know Ollie Ward tweeted about him basically being an amateur footballer, but I thought the same as well. I think he was, and I feel a bit sorry for a bloke because he's a human being, but he was horrendous, and I could imagine him struggling in Sunday League the way he played in that first half. But having Crescencio Somerville, Dan James, and Jorginho Rutter running at you, it does put what is it? I can't think of the word, but it basically would scare any Championship defender. But having said all that, I think Joel Pirro is somebody who maybe we should talk about as well, because in recent weeks, he's struggled to get into the games, and there's been the debate again about whether he should play in the number 10 or the number 9. I still think he probably should play in the number 9, but I do think that his link-up play was so much better today, and I think the way he was able to get the ball into feet and just play nice little flicks and 1-2s. He had a couple of shots, but not really anything clear-cut. But the way he contributed to the attack and just being there to be a bounce pad, basically, to bounce the ball off, go back, get little 1-2s off him, I think he did well at doing that in there. Other than that, I mean, Byron was excellent again. Byron was really good defensively and going forward. Huddersfield probably should have had 2 red cards in that first half as well. There was one where the guy went over the top of the ball and took Ampadu down, and there was one where their number 14, I can't remember what number he was, Thomas for them, he basically tried to stamp on the back of Byram's calves just as he was passing it back to the goalkeeper, nowhere near the ball, and the referee only gave him a yellow for it. So I think there could have been a couple of red cards in this game as well in that first half, and they were really, really terrible, Huddersfield. But we kind of just in the second half chilled out. Like I said, Lockie said this about Man City, where they just, once they go a goal or 2 up, they just chilled out for the rest of the game to avoid injuries and to avoid fatigue and all those things. And basically, you've got a 46 game season, so you don't need to go hell for leather the entire time. Maybe kind of the opposite school of thought to what Bielsa was like, which he was get ahead and then get more ahead, whereas Farke's get ahead and right, let's relax, let's not get anybody injured. Having said that, ironically, then Joe Rodon did get an injury towards the end of the game and had to be substituted off, so I'm really hoping he comes back against Leicester. But we're skipping ahead a little bit there because they did score in the second half. It was a decent-ish, powerful shot from Thomas from the edge of the box. It hit Meslier in the chest. He wasn't able to catch it in time. Bad mistake from him. Rolled straight out to Hellick, their centre-back, their number 5, and he just slotted it past Meslier. 2 things. Meslier should never have spilt that ball. Should have caught it. The second thing is Shackleton was playing Hellick onside and should have never done so. He should have looked across the line, and maybe that's his background as a midfielder, not really giving him the defensive nous to have a look across the line and think, oh, I should have stepped up there, or I should be stepping up here before it happened. So that was a bit annoying that we conceded, and we never scored anything in the second half. But the thing I kind of do want to talk about is Cooper and Aing, because they came on, and immediately when Cooper came on, he was skinned and couldn't catch up at all with the Huddersfield striker, and actually brought him down in the box. For me, if there was VAR, that was a penalty. His back leg just tripped the striker over, and it was definitely, I think it was Bergzorg, which is a great name, by the way. Cooper just tripped him up, like slid him in the box and took him down, and it would have been a penalty if there was VAR. It should have been a penalty if the referees were competent, and that would have made it 4-2, which would have not been as a nice reflection on this game, because I think we were so good in that first half. But Cooper is past it, and we've talked about this before on The Final Word and on Jer's podcast and things like that, where if you bring Cooper in, you're sacrificing Strauch because you're putting him out to the right centre-back spot. I mean, Strauch was decent in that right centre-back spot, but it's not worth Cooper being in there because he's not good enough to displace Strauch, because Strauch's been so good. So for me, if Cooper's going to come on, it has to be in that right centre-back role, and I don't even want him to come on, to be honest. I think I would rather have any other centre back there. I mean, we don't have that many at our disposal, but obviously Cresswell wasn't in the squad today. But had he been in the squad, it was, for me, 100 times out of 100, I would bring Cresswell on for Rodon rather than Cooper on for Rodon, because just him being right-footed, just him having a bit of pace and a bit of agility at his age is so much better than what we have in Cooper. And Cooper's a leader, yes, but I think his time at Leeds is up because he's just not good enough in there. And that moves me on to Aing as well, because Aing I think he misplaced more passes than he actually found feet with, which is really worrying. And Farke says he needs to have them in there for maybe a bit of confidence, and because they are the leaders in the group, the young players have to be like, oh, well, they are still getting game time. But for me, I don't think it's worth playing them because neither of them are good enough. Aing just, like I say, misplaced most of his passes, didn't really do anything good, was skinned a couple times when Shackleton hadn't really been for most of that first half, other than one mistake that he made. And for me, I just don't want Aing and Cooper in anywhere near this starting 11, and even coming off the bench, I just don't think it. Please, Jed Spence, I implore you, come back, get fit as soon as possible and come back and play in there, and Cresswell as well, we need him on the bench, because really, I don't want Ailing and Cooper in this team because they just don't fit anymore. It's the same thing as what people are saying with Bamford. He just doesn't quite look like he fits anymore. And Bamford, I think, fits more than these two do now. I don't know if I'm being harsh. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. This is not to say that they haven't been fantastic servants of the club, because they have, and I actually really like them, and I think they've been brilliant over the years and getting us promoted and all those memories they gave us. But I think we've just got to be realistic and think when you watch them on the pitch, they just look a level below the rest of the team. I don't think it's any coincidence that when they came on the pitch, we were defensively not as sound. So for me, yeah, I don't think I'm being unfair to just say that I don't think they're good enough anymore, because they once were, and they once were very good players, and they gave us good memories, but I'm just not happy with them anymore. Having said that, this is happy because we won 4-1, and we were so good in that first half. It's one of the most entertaining, exciting first halves of football I've ever watched. I absolutely loved it. Crescencio Somerville, Dan James, Jorginho Rutter should all feel very, very happy after today's performance, because they were excellent. So good, so good. Now, thanks for watching this one. I will be uploading again midweek. Look out for that on the channel, because it's a new series starting. I won't tell you what it is yet, but you'll see it when it comes out, and I think it'll be a bit of fun and something to sort of take your mind off the championship, and will just be a nice watch for people on a Wednesday evening. So yeah, look out for that on the channel. Make sure you put that notification bell on as well, so you get notified when I upload it. And I shall see you next time on Leeds Lately. Thanks for watching.